Geopolitical.
Hello, Patriots. Welcome to Patriots Across the Pond and Friends, REDPILLING RENE Ep5. And I can tell you, it looks like Elisa and Renee are both fired up for today's show.
So it's episode 5?
Yeah.
Where did you grow that extra finger?
I don't know. You might have to ask the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Netanyahu.
Yeah, good. Right, Elisa, first, how are you?
So yeah, I'm a little annoyed today. Just I don't know. I feel like the news cycle is the same stuff over and over, right? We were at the hospital last night and somebody that was there was saying like, why do you want to watch the news? You know, it's the same shit over and over. And it's true. But then remember we were talking about how the Epstein File like is going to wake people up, right? Right, obviously woke you up, it touched you, probably a lot of people. It's like, oh, it's the same old stuff on the news. You know, there's Iran, there's killings, there's Epstein. And I was thinking, but like maybe people don't really understand Epstein because that's sort of not just like typical news if you think about it. That is something really, really wrong with the world and society and who's running us. And I just don't think people are ever going to get it. I just don't.
Well, I don't think a lot of people like reading, do they really? And then look, and I think unless you start showing them some fucking nasty videos and stuff, then
well, they're coming.
They fucking are, yeah. Yeah. Renee, how are you?
Doing good. Good. The world will never be the same again. Thank y'all.
Yeah, well, it's changing every single day. And, well, think about me. I'm coming to America, Eddie Murphy style, in April, and I've just been watching an hour video about prepping, EMP attacks, planes falling out the sky, everything going down. So...
yeah, so what happens is, you know, there's something called it's called in investing, it's called an Elliott wave. So it's like this, like this, like this, like this. So you guys have made me so sick and jaded that I've now merged the investment side of me with this. So now I see some movement in the markets and stuff I invest in. And instead of getting excited, I'm like, fuck, what's going to happen now?
Right.
No, it's sick, but it actually makes sense if you look at it. If you assume that the elites are simply manipulating everything for their own purpose, look what happened with oil, all right? There is no way you can move oil that fast unless it's being manipulated on a global scale. It's impossible. It's too much movement.
Or unless most of it's already been moved and we're being told it's being moved.
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, yeah. And then I'm like, looking around on X, Twitter, and then I look on that vein, from the Matrix, the ID of Neo,
9/11.
9/11. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what? Am I living a joke? Am I the punchline of a joke?
No, we all are. We all are. But
I mean, by I mean we.
yeah. Well, here's the thing, and Stu, I wanted to just digress really fast. I know Renee has like an agenda, and we want to respect that and talk about it. But no,
Elisa, I no longer have anything.
Okay. Well,
I'm just a soul that needs to be saved.
So listen, you're going to save yourself, but we'll talk about that. So yesterday we had a great show. We had Juan O'Savin and Sheila Holm. Now, Juan O'Savin is, from what we understand, he's very, very high in the government, the good guys, the white hats. He's, I guess, former CIA. He's been involved in a lot of name something in the last 50 years globally. He's been involved in it somehow, some way. And so he also is very involved in our movement, and he goes on a lot of podcasts, and he brings insight into what's happening. So he was on yesterday. And then Sheila is extremely brilliant. She's written like 18 books, very, very spiritual, all these people are. Actually, we said a very long prayer at the end of our show yesterday. However, she is involved a lot with military intelligence and the like. She's been to Mar-a-Lago a lot. So anyway, we have this wonderful show with the two of them on it. And Juan actually brought us through. And Stu, I know we've heard this a bunch of times, but the way he described how we're here was one of the best explanations I've ever heard from him or anybody, like the way he put it together. And
you tell.
And essentially, and we'll let you, what clip, by the way, did you take yesterday, Stu?
Sorry, pardon? What clip?
What was the clip from the show? Because it's not related to what I'm talking about, is it? With Osiris and all that stuff?
What do you mean, what clip did I take from the show?
Didn't you take a timestamp from our show yesterday when Juan was talking?
About the chemtrails, and
about the chemtrails. Okay, so we'll talk about that. But basically, if you think about it, what he was trying to explain is that you have this group of people that believe, whether they're people or not is a different story, but they believe that they were a bunch of these beings that kind of came down to Earth, right, millennia ago, and they actually reproduced with human women because apparently most of them were male, right? So what were they? We don't know, but they're not of this planet, supposedly.
And fallen angels, Nephilim.
Fallen angels, exactly. And they
before marriage, correct?
Before
marriage. That was a joke.
Oh, okay. So they reproduced. So now they are offspring because why? Because they wanted to, have their have lineage, right? They wanted to reproduce for their bloodline or whatever. So now you've got these hybrids. So if you go back, because it all goes back to Cain and Abel, and Juan must have said, if he said it once, he said it like 3 times. It doesn't matter if it's true. It's what they believe. So that's the premise that they're coming from. And so from this, right, you have Eve, the Garden of Eden, Eve, who got pregnant by one of these. We call it the serpent, right? It's non-human, whatever. And she now is with Adam, and she gets pregnant with his son. So she had fraternal twins, but it was of 2 different men, is what the story is. So now you have Cain and Abel. And of course, we kind of know the story of Cain and Abel, right? Cain killed his brother, but he was explaining that part of what they want, if you will, is to just have their bloodline. So when we look at this idea that they want to kill us all, what is in it for them? It's to eradicate the human element that's here on Earth and just have their bloodline. So does that make like a little sense, right? So if you
it does, except you then incorporate all the things that we're learning about essentially eating humans, there's
Right.
going to be no one left to eat.
Well, they'll have, I guess in there, they'll
Eat
have breeding
what?
programs. They'll have breeding programs and things like that. So
Yeah.
we'll just be like a farm, but the
Right.
majority of us are gone, right? And essentially from what we can gather, right? None of us have seen it, but we've heard it and everything. That's essentially what they've set up, isn't it? With the adrenochrome and underground and the breeding and all this awful stuff that's
it's amazing, but I'm just getting out there, just casually talking to people, casually, and I think people are kind of waking up. Like I was at a barbecue joint. I know you don't eat barbecue, Elisa. I'm sorry.
okay.
They have lovely shishito peppers there. So the guy says, I hope this isn't human meat.
Wow.
And I looked at him, was like, well played. And I didn't laugh. I was like, huh. It was like, okay. This is this, because I mean, where we live, this is conservative capitalist America. To hear this in my neighborhood, I did not expect. And it wasn't initiated by me.
Right.
I just heard it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe.
Well, we like to hope that that's not true anymore, because back, I guess, when was the first time you heard that, Stu? I think it was like 2021 or 22, where I heard this ridiculous about the human meat. It was this ridiculous. Yeah, it was this ridiculous story. Of course, I got abused for it, right, by my family. That I guess the rabbis and the community were killing, when they do this human sacrifices, they would take the bodies and they had a deal with McDonald's and that all the meat or whatever the bodies were going there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
have you heard that interview with Rabbi Finkelstein? I think it is.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's sick. He's got like a very, Yiddish accent. He's like, yes, we take the goyim, we sacrifice them, and then we take their bodies. We have a deal with McDonald's. It's like, it sounds like a joke. So, who knows, right? We're all in this mode now, a couple of years, like, I guess so, what's possible. But it's kind of interesting because if you remember, Donald Trump was standing at the McDonald's at the drive-thru, which was sort of a signal in this meme, in this little video saying, which we interpret as everything's okay now, guys.
Okay.
So that idea of the human meat, I like to think it's no longer.
I'm sure you guys know this, but in Guatemala, they have a very, very, very small population of a ultra right-wing sect of Judaism, and they were all arrested for human trafficking. I mean, all of them. And the population of Guatemala is like 0.001 of this group, and they literally trafficked thousands of Guatemalan children, and they were all arrested. Yeah. And that was in the mainstream news.
Yeah. Well, there are operations every day that we don't even know about, where they're just going in and they are just taking these people out and they're rescuing kids, and it's going to take a while to get into the depths of this, as opposed to sort of what we would call maybe the institutional, industrial, big systems that we hope they've taken out and gone into the tunnels and all that. But there's still pockets all over the place of these sick bastards. So anyway, Juan went into all that and talked about how the story of Osiris, which I think you've read, which is essentially that, and I'm losing some of how it started, but he's the son of, what's his lineage, Stu?
Who?
Osiris. He had a brother. Set killed him. Yeah.
Osiris, yeah.
Set killed him and chopped him into 14 pieces. And then the part that was so his mother wanted to put all these pieces back together so that she could reproduce with him. Okay, which in and of itself is gross, but okay. And then she couldn't find the penis. So the story it got eaten by a fish or something, Stu. And then the penis, because she couldn't find it, she made it out of like stone, and allegedly got pregnant with this in this way. So that's why, as you know, we have all these obelisks, right, that represent the penis of Osiris.
I'll just show you a quick picture. John Podesta.
Okay. Yeah, tell him about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well,
what is that?
John Podesta. And it's obviously, this is a fish on his hand and the 14. So it all relates to this, the story Elisa's telling about Osiris being chopped into 14 parts, we believe.
Yeah. And we also believe, allegedly, that he's the son of Joseph Mengele, that he's part of that bloodline, John Podesta. So,
well,
they're all the same club.
Yeah. So there was a photo that I saw, because now I see things that I used to not see. And it was like a family gathering. It was a gathering of people in 1930.
We showed you that last week.
Right. Yeah, right.
Sure.
So, I mean, it really is insane that we were raised to really loathe these people. And it turns out that these people are our presidents.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids are our presidents, our senators, our beloved actors. It is really, really a mind fuck.
Yeah.
So what's amazing is that in this war with Israel and Iran, do you know what I've been relegated to?
What?
I hope they blow each other up. I'm no longer saying you like just destroy it. Just like with the show, the beginning of the show, tear the whole thing down.
Yep.
I'm like, they're all bad, kill them all.
Yeah.
Like Metallica, kill them all. I'm like, yeah, just kill them all. We don't need them. It's cool.
Well, like we said before, each country's got some sort of deep state swamp in it, and they are being eradicated by this alliance. And
you know that you know Larry Silverstein Properties.
Yep.
You know, World Trade Center. So he recently bought U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles. I will not be going to Los Angeles, and I'm assuming U.S. Bank Tower will be destroyed. And I'm assuming that he will not be there. I'm assuming that he will make a claim against a massive insurance policy. Can you believe what you people have done to me? I'm now foretelling the future. Can you?
Did you when Larry Silverstein bought Twin Towers, he put out an insurance policy on them.
And it had a clause in it that if there were two separate acts, it would be a double recovery. Yeah.
And did you see the video
of
of Larry Silverstein saying we took the decision to pull the building, talking about the Solomon building?
No.
I'll find that for you quickly.
But really quick, do you know that yours truly took a class with Larry Silverstein?
No, did not.
I did. So my wife and I, a gazillion years ago, we took a class at NYU Business School on real estate development with Larry Silverstein. So I'm thinking, oh, good for him. Good for him. He got some money out of this. I feel, it's a shame that the towers came down. He was able to get some money. And I'm thinking,
I know.
You motherfucker.
Right. I know.
And then the question becomes, who's behind Silverstein?
Well, now
because
there's no way.
There's no way he did this by himself.
Well, now you know from when we looked at that chart. Remember, you see how high it goes. You see the way it goes all the way up. He's less than a pawn. Do you know what I'm saying?
I want to know what line he's in. Who his handlers are. I can't believe this. Who his handlers are.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? A lot of the people, and we talk about the Jewish religion and how it's been
hijacked.
people have hijacked. That's the word I was looking
well,
for.
well, Zionists, it's different.
Zionists, yeah, and a lot of people have got names ending in Steen and Ein and all these sorts of things. Right. Let me play this 1 minute video for you of Larry Silverstein.
Mm-hmm.
World Trade Center 7 has always been considered the starting point for rebuilding. Located north of the slurry wall, 7 had been cleared faster than the rest of the site, and there had been no bodies to recover. Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Yeah, the one day he didn't go there, it happened. The one day.
Yes.
Did you guys did you hear whose voice that sounded like narrating?
Yeah, absolutely. Larry King.
No, was it?
Sounded like Larry King to me.
It sounded like Kevin Spacey to me.
One more. Can we do it one more time?
I wasn't even listening to that voice.
Could be wrong, but wouldn't that be interesting?
Is it Larry King? Is it Kevin Spacey? King, Spacey. We shall see.
That's Kevin Spacey. That's Kevin Spacey.
It is?
Yeah, didn't I play that? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have it on the screen, did I? It's definitely Kevin Spacey. Listen to
Let's
this.
do it.
World Trade Center 7 had always been considered the starting point for rebuilding.
Oh, yeah.
Located north of...
Yeah.
Now, we know...
Now,
go ahead.
Larry Silverstein said, it'd been burning all day. We took the decision to pull the building, i.e. controlled demolition.
Right.
What is wrong with that statement?
That means that the explosives are already there.
How long does it take to rig a building for destruction like that?
Exactly.
You need to rig it for it's like a month, 2 months.
Exactly. And there's the issue.
Months.
Yeah. And we've also got a video of Jane Stanley from the BBC talking. The Solomon building standing behind her, and she said it had collapsed. And then I think it was Nicholas Witchell or something like that said, "Oh, we're losing the signal. We're losing the signal," and the screen went blank because the building, she said, it collapsed, was standing behind her. So it was pre-knowledge that it was going to go down.
But we didn't pick these things up. I mean, some people did, but I'm saying the average person, right? They didn't pick this up.
Yeah,
they were still in shock.
So my friend Dave, who's he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He told me years ago, it's like, Renee, do you really think that was a terrorist attack and that caused the towers to go down? I'm like, of course. What do you think happened? Because in my mind, it's impossible that this was premeditated. Security, you've got people in the building, I mean, come on, Dave. You know what? Dave is owed an apology.
Yes, he is. And everyone's got a mate called Dave, haven't they?
I want to do it in person he lives in Tampa now. Next time I see him, I'm just gonna, like I did with you, Elisa, I'm gonna beg you for forgiveness and just lower my head and be humbled before your brilliance.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about Iran a little bit, Stu?
I would love to, because I am so confused. I am so confused.
All right. Well, before that, I want to say two things. Number one, we do not call them the elite anymore because they are scum-sucking, bottom-feeding swamp creatures and wankers, whatever. Yeah,
I love the expression wank. That's the best word you guys have in England. Wankers.
Well, Yeah, we got loads.
So
And,
in Spanish we have one. It's the same thing. It's just as funny. It's called pajeros.
Pajeros.
So my mother-in-law, may she rest in peace. I used to, I'm an unusual cat. I used to call her pajista. And she would like chase me, get all mad at me, like a masturbator.
Yes.
Pajista.
Right, and the second thing is, we gave you some homework last week. What have you been doing? Have you been right? I can already tell. Look at his face.
We've
oh,
had the
trouble.
listen. You got to understand. I'm in the middle of a trial right now.
I'll just ask you one thing.
Homework.
Have you been watching the X-22 report at all?
No.
Okay, all right.
I told you.
Well,
I need my Gerbers.
Well, you did say I need
nut.
direction. I need direction. I told you about the X-22 report. You went, send it now. Send it now. I said, I'll send it.
Even a 5-year-old can sit in front of a TV screen for a half hour.
Yeah.
Watching
Listen,
it
if we meet at coffee, we can watch it together. But to make me go like this and sit and watch something, I don't know.
All right.
It's hard.
We shall have a little, maybe an extra show in the week doing watch party with Renee
Something like that.
Now,
but you have to understand something. By me doing it this way, everything is organic. Nothing is contrived. It's like everything I'm learning at my own pace. My awakening is happening in real time. I'm not force feeding myself like a goose about to be Thanksgiving dinner. I'm learning it organic, and by learning it organically, I'm really assimilating it and really, learning it. So that's the right side.
Okay, so Kate in the chat has just said, show Rennie the fake beheading video. Everyone was faked out. Anyway, so this is another video that's cropped up. Let me just play this for you, because this is about 3 minutes.
Because it isn't what you think it is. For example, if we go look at the John McCain videos, let's talk about ISIS and ISIL and the stand-up of that, okay? We saw videos of guys in orange jumpsuits being beheaded. We saw instance after instance, people being set on fire, people marched out on beaches. But then on John McCain's laptop, when he was in the Ukraine, his laptop was hacked and a video was pulled down that showed the use of a green screen and how they were making these videos. It was a wag the dog, okay? Now you look at this video, and it's right here, it's proof. It's still up on YouTube, which I'm shocked they haven't taken it down yet, but look at this video and just look at the green screen behind them, look at the orange jumpsuits, look at all of the props and the lighting and the director, film directors, everything that's behind it. It's all an illusion. And so anybody can sit here and do this stuff. If you've got a big Hollywood type studio, you can produce quality data that is going to trick anybody, right? And then you've got the media who is on, as we're finding out, is all operated by the CIA. So folks, what they were doing was using this instance to fund their war, okay? Unchecked, unquestioned. Keep that in mind, all right?
The ISIS video is simply too horrific to show. The man being executed by beheading is James Foley.
I call on my friends, family, and loved ones to rise up against my real killers, the U.S. government. For what will happen to me is only a result of their complacency and criminality.
I remember this.
This is James Wright Foley, an American citizen of your country. So any attempt by you, Obama, to deny the Muslims their rights of living in safety under the Islamic Caliphate will result in the bloodshed of your people.
just moments before his death. We have watched the video. We will not air it. The White House says American intelligence agents are working to verify the authenticity of the video.
James Foley's brother, Michael, and his sister, Katie, are in Dover, New Hampshire this morning. First of all, we'd like to extend our deepest sympathies to both of you and your entire family. I think it's hard for
She's a
all of us,
wanker.
including Michael, to imagine the pain you've been going through. So how has your family been coping with this? Imagine the pain you've been going through. So how has your family been coping with this? Imagine the pain you've been going through. So how has your family, imagine the pain you've been going through. So how has your family, imagine the pain you've been going through. So how has your family been coping with this?
Thanks for having us.
I think for the most part,
So
Yeah.
their house, it's a set.
Yeah. Now, ready for this, because this will probably, if you're not already kind of on your thinking about this, what about all those terrible school shootings like Sandy Hook? What about those awful things? And then we see the same people in other crisis videos.
No.
And we find out
No.
that the school had been closed for a while. Now, Mel and I did a whole thing on this a while ago. I mean, of course, he was Mel, so he was cursing and carrying on. But we did a whole thing. Like, do you think those are true? Absolutely not. Why? And we were talking about how these people are literally paid because they're crisis actors.
I have to see this. Do you have that?
Well, I mean, you've seen the commercials where they're like, hi, it's all about gun control. It's all about trying to whittle away at the Second Amendment. That's what do? You get people emotional, right? Oh my God, they're killing children, and people lose sight of the fact that more than likely, no matter how much you do gun control, the criminals are still going to get the gun. So let's not even go there, right? However, what we also know is a lot of these shootings where the perpetrator was MK Ultra. They were controlled.
Right.
Mind controlled to do this.
Right. Mind control people. Abused and manipulated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you you can't say, you got to be.
I would love to see those people in other situations. I would love to see that. Like put a compilation of those two folks in different situations. I would blow that up. If you can show me that, I will spend my money to make that go viral.
And then there's also, remember the bombing, all these, do you have that? Remember they had that going around, a lot of those comparisons with the actors in all those different settings, same actor. They also show it with the people coming over the border.
It's wild. I believe me,
with people coming over the border, like how they had all those like poor women and children, and then you see them in different settings.
Yeah, so you know what I think needs to be done? Like you guys have a reach, but your reach is like-minded people. So it's almost like an echo chamber. You need to cross over to vanilla, mainstream, boring world. Regular people. They need to be shocked by seeing this. Find the way. Put it in CNN.com and buy a spot or something on that.
But Renee, you have to understand.
If people see those two people,
they'll call you crazy. They'll say it was Photoshop.
AI. Yeah.
If someone's not ready to see.
Yeah, they don't. You're right.
Right. I just want to say something. If we're going to go into these subjects, because we don't, the whole point of these shows is we do not prep for them at all. It's all off the cuff and amazing. Right. If you want to, I can pull clips up, right? But I want to make sure I pull the right clips up. So if we've got one particular subject, we can talk
about another day. Yeah. But I'm telling you, if you guys want to really, really, really get these people thinking, that I think is brilliant. You get those two actors, you put them in this situation. They were here. They were here. And it could be like verifiable. I'm telling you, people will lose their shit.
I'll show you another one, Rene.
I think we all remember the Challenger explosion that took place in 1986 that tragically took the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. Well, the interesting thing is, a couple decades later, this thing called the Internet, and someone allegedly found almost all of those astronauts alive and well, many using the same exact names. We have Challenger astronaut Judith Resnick and also Judith Resnick, Yale law professor. Michael J. Smith, the pilot of the Challenger astronaut, and also professor at University of Wisconsin, now retired Michael J. Smith. Commander Dick Scobie, who is now president of Cows and Trees. Now, if you'll notice, they all have the exact same faces 30 some odd years later, the same exact name, and they are the same age. Now, to have the same face, the same age, and the same exact name is extremely rare. So rare, I could only find one case in the last 120 years. And we're supposed to believe that 3 people from one space flight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names. This, I think we all remember the Challenger explosion.
Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm. It's fucked up.
Come on.
Like you'll have a day, and I don't know when, where you'll laugh. You will laugh because you'll just be like, you know what? I don't have time for this anymore. Now I have to move on to bigger and better things to focus on.
You know, I have a friend who he's in banking. he would love to do a movie on this. I'm telling you, yeah, this needs to get into like theaters. This is insane. Like not like a viral internet thing, because people see internet and they're like, whatever, they don't believe it yet. They're not there. They haven't evolved to that point. But you put this like in movie theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, people will lose it.
Yes, but why do you think when people make independent documentaries, try and get them in movie theaters, like The Sound of Freedom, about child trafficking? It was shut down. They took it over. They buried it. This is what happens. This is why Elisa and I and many others have been censored. This is why I'm on my Facebook account. They shut my YouTube down because the powers that be censored us to fuck. But now, with this military alliance and the control of Twitter and all these things, we are taking the power back. We are the news now, which is why we're allowed to get so much more stuff out. And I believe it's scripted
it's amazing.
in this time so that when we were able to start putting this stuff back out again, is that the people would have seen the Biden show, they would have been prepped. But it's the frog in the pot in reverse. It's being done slowly. So we are being allowed to get more and more stuff out.
I mean, I would put this in,
people didn't believe any of it.
In Cannes Film Festival, put it out there.
Well, look, we know that the White Hats and the Patriots are in control for a number. Is it that the job is all done? No, but they're pretty much in control, right? As we compare it to like a chess game. Both players know who the winner is going to be long before the observers know, but they still have to make the moves and get to that point. So I don't know if you follow my Twitter. Okay. I have a lot of stuff on there, but yesterday alone, there was about 4 or 5, circulating bits of information on cancer and all the stuff, whether it's frequency, whether it's that it's a parasite. It's a parasite, right? And these worm whatevers are tumors. Like, it's so easy because years ago, back in the day, once a year, people would do these dewormings, right?
Yeah.
They would do it. It was part of, like spring cleaning.
Right.
And then
wormed, right? I'm going to go get wormed. Like 18.
And then they told everyone, you're a crazy lunatic. You need a pharmaceutical. And all of those people that had these quote cures were they had the act. I think it was 1930. I'm going to get it wrong. I put it in my Twitter this morning. I have to find it.
Cancer.
The Cancer Act, and it actually started in England.
It's the Cancer Act of 1939.
39, and it was illegal to come out with anything that showed, that was a cure for this. Why? Because Big Pharma was in its infancy and they were just rolling out, they were just getting chemo and radiation and all this stuff. And it was anticipation of this business. So kill any information like this. And many of those guys just either disappeared, died, the people that were.
So I texted you this morning at 5:43 a.m.
Yeah.
And I sent you this. Look at this.
Yep.
So it
That's on my
says
Twitter. Yeah.
1150 hertz, rife frequency. This sound can kill parasites.
Yeah.
Royal Rife discovered that this frequency could destroy parasites on a cellular level. And I go to you, we need this. And you say to me, I have one.
It's a handheld.
Yeah.
I need to go shopping.
Yeah. Listen, there's so much stuff. I'll just play another little 3-minute video. I saw this. I think this went onto YouTube about 18 years ago, but this is just about astronauts. And it's a bit grainy, but.
Astronauts moving in slow motion is another hallmark of the Apollo TV footage. There is no evidence at all of any astronaut making a leap or a jump anywhere near a height commensurate with 1/6G possibilities. But if they were actually simulating EVAs on Earth, they would then need help with their bulky heavyweight suits and backpacks in order to achieve the visual effect of moving around easily in lunar gravity. So enter wire supports. This is a tried and tested way of relieving weight from performers or even flying an actor. Here is a sequence from one of our own productions.
Excuse me, will I need a car?
Relax, Chris. We're only making a short journey back to 1969, to the beginning of humans.
Of course, confirmation that wires were used is in the detail. Here in this Apollo 14 footage, you can see a ping, a momentary glint. And again, run slowly. And once more. There are other examples too. This one is from Apollo 17 during the flag scene. You can see the ping at the top of the frame. In this footage from Apollo 16, we have telltale evidence of a slightly floating or dangling effect at the jump salute location. It's as if the weight is being taken off the astronaut's feet just a second or so too soon. Compare that sequence with an obvious rehearsal rig. The dangling effect is very evident. And here again, from the same mission, Apollo 16, we have an astronaut who is about to get up.
Here. Okay, here we go.
Let me give you a hand, he says.
There goes bearing. There goes another bearing. Ready. Coming.
Look at it again. The astronaut is getting up with the wire taking the weight, relieving him of 5/6 of the Earth's gravity. A magic trick? No, just the help of a wireman. This is a slow motion jump that would have been seen live on TV. And here it is at normal speed. The well-rehearsed, pre-recorded material was apparently slowed down by 50% when we saw it on TV. And yes, we've done the necessary work to establish that percentage.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. If Neil Armstrong was the first guy to walk on the moon, I mean, this is just common sense. Wasn't it the cameraman that was the first guy on the moon? If you're really thinking.
Let me find that video of that Italian. Yeah, do you remember that?
I mean, it's just common sense.
Who's the cameraman? Duh.
While I look for this video, I don't know whether I'll be able to find it. I should be able to. You said at the start of the show or just before we came on that Neo's passport had 9/11 on it. Yeah, for the mate.
Yes, I have it. I have it here. I was so blown away by it.
Right, look at the screen. Look at the screen. That is from.
Oh,
that's
come on.
That's from Terminator 2. Listen, you can watch minutes and minutes and minutes of this footage. There's Neo's passport.
Simpsons, like crazy.
That's the Simpsons. This stuff is, yeah. It was just a quick video I found, but yeah, this stuff is everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah,
let me see if I can find that.
All right, here's Neo's passport. I took an image of it on my phone. There it is.
Yeah.
And then there it is.
It's like a little scavenger hunt now, isn't it?
I mean, come on. Come on.
All these little things that you see, and the dots connect.
So the positive thing. So Elisa, the positive thing.
Yeah.
So, my aunt, your mother-in-law is about to leave us, and I will tell you that because of all this, I'm filled with hope. It's life is a transition. The soul eternal. Thinking things that before I was hoping they were real, but now things are becoming a lot realer to me. So I was there the other day at the hospital, and because of you guys, and my awakening, I was actually filled with hope and not filled with dread. So thank you both for that.
Yeah. And clearly, everybody has their path and their journey that they choose. But I think because we know so much, to me anyway, I get very angry because
the concept of the soul now is very different to me than what it was before. So it's really a journey now as opposed to I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is really comforting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, I think when a lot of this really, if people absorb what's happening, like another thing that I put on Twitter yesterday was about the mammograms and how that's a big effing hoax as well. And it actually damages the breast tissue and all this other stuff. Biopsies actually release whatever the body in its magnificence is able to hold within, and then they puncture it and then it goes all over. But all the mastectomies and other invasive procedures that have been done that were false, like there was no cancer. And, so these things, I think, as people start to hear them, I gotta assume it's going to get a lot of people enraged to think that they were watching their loved ones or themselves go through something when all you had to do was deworm.
Terrible.
Yeah. Well, I just found this. This is excellent.
Oh, I love this one.
Can show you how the fucking moon landing was fucking bullshit because everyone's telling you that was fucking wrong.
Showed me.
Yeah,
that's an Italian.
Here you go. The guy's getting off the rocket ship. Who the fuck is filming him? Who's filming him? How'd the fucking guy get up there if this is the first guy supposed to?
It sounds like Mel.
Is it a rocket ship? I don't know. So they sent the rocket ship up there. He got off and he's like, all right, come on up now. I'm ready to fucking film. Are you fucking serious?
It's Mel's brother.
To be the first guy on the moon. It's bullshit. The car. How the fuck did the car fit in that rocket ship? Look, how did that car fit in the rocket ship? I don't know. Okay, right. More bullshit. Then the guy's floating around with a big fucking cord to his stomach, and they're telling you that's his fucking, life support. What's it give? Was it fucking feeding him through the fucking tube like a baby? They fucking get bouncing around like a fucking jerk off. Yeah, watch. Let me show you. There it goes. Bye-bye. You know what? I'm going to stay behind. You guys go back to Earth. I'll fucking die up here. And how the fuck did he get the film back to Earth? Yeah, look, the fake fucking parachute. Hey, we're home now. What happened to the guy back on the moon? They just left them?
I guess.
Everyone guesses they don't have any fucking facts. Bullshit.
Stu, you sure he's not from Piccadilly Circus?
Yes, he may well be. Anyway, that's enough of the NASA stuff for today. We could go down these rabbit holes. There's so much footage out there.
Can we figure out Iran? Why we're there? What we're doing? What's going on? There are so many angles to this.
Yes.
So many angles to this.
Right, we've showed you the capitulation tour video before, and it was not who capitulated potentially, it's who didn't capitulate. Okay. And there were certain countries on there. Now, Israel has always pushed Iran as being the perpetrator of all this stuff, and they have had a savage installed cabal operated government for 47 years, which I believe Trump and the military alliance, it's not just America, it's all these nations are taking them out. I believe whatever's going on with Israel, Netanyahu and stuff, because a lot of people are blackpilling, say we are Israel's bitch. No, it's all being used to expose these people and ultimately put Israel in the crosshairs, not, necessarily the Israeli people, but the Mossad control tentacles over the earth. And that was a bit of waffle there from me, but
did you notice that in this battle, war, whatever you want to call it,
operation,
there was little to no pitch. With Desert Storm, there was a pitch.
Yeah, because
yellow cake uranium. Like they had like a big drum up. This time they didn't even bother.
Yeah, well, that just tells you, didn't it? Trump said we'll never telegraph our moves to the enemy, whereas all these cabal wars before, they did. They needed a setup, like weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
But the difference is, too, the kinetics. Like, in other words, you needed to rile the country to support an ongoing war where people were going to get killed over and over and over for bullshit. This is clearly an operation.
Right.
We're in and out. We're doing what we got to do, and we're getting the fuck out. And we're gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is it? What? I still don't understand what the it is.
Okay.
What is the goal? At least for America, I know that other G7 countries are now sending in assets. I know the British have, the French have, the Germans have. I need to understand the goal. Is there a goal? Or are we just...
Well, there's a lot of theories, right, Stu? There's a
what
lot
is
of
the
theories. Because we probably don't know exactly, but we know in some of these countries, we know that there's more than just like a bad guy. We know that there could be connections to, like we've talked about, Stargates. There could be, certain ley line stuff. Could be where big aspects of child trafficking are happening. It could be off planet or aliens, whatever you want to call them, that they're fighting. So there's probably
could it be deep state banking?
It's probably
it's all of it.
All the above.
All of the above.
There's
taking it from cabal control, whatever that ball entails, to now saying you're not in control anymore. And you're going to play nice because we're going to have the good people in charge. You're going to free your fucking people that you've been savagely killing and suppressing all these years. And we're going to continue to make this peace movement throughout the world, because before we start living in abundance, we don't want you fuckers living in abundance. We want you hung.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's 641,930 sealed indictments now, so these are constantly growing. We are watching sting operation after sting operation after sting operation. They are tracking, they are monitoring criminality everywhere, and I believe this is a battle for good and evil, and this time they will not be allowed to hide away and come back in 30, 40, 50 years' time and try and take over again. This is a complete eradication of the cabal
100%.
worldwide, right? In every single country.
I
Now,
hope so.
what you just said there about Keir Starmer now playing ball and all these, I believe they've always been playing ball. Capitulation tour was 2017, 2018. Publicly, if that hadn't, things hadn't been done before, they had to cut the head of the snake. We heard they took out the 13 bloodline families. Now, if they took the 13 bloodline families out, then all these governments, surely there was criminals everywhere, but they had no masters. So what they did, I believe, is cut the head off the snake, and then they've been capitulating people, taking people out, putting actors in potentially, clones, playing this movie, CGI, and picking these people off worldwide. And then Iran again. We were talking last week about how it has scuppered because the control of this behemoth was Washington, D.C., where they controlled the world's military, the Vatican, they controlled the world's religion, and the City of London, where they controlled the world's finances from. What we're seeing with the Straits of Hormuz and taking Iran out has completely fucked up Lloyd's of London. Trump's now taken over the insurance for this. There's a lot of talk now about what's going on with the oil. Our price is going to go up. Trump and this military alliance are 5 moves ahead at every single stage. And when we see something happen, what's he doing that for? 48 to 72 hour rules, or a week later, or 2 weeks later, or a year later, we go, oh, yes. So
I have a little, bit of information because I thanks to Elisa, I went down a path. Elisa, you really have been quite the influence on my life. So, I'm now a serious crypto investor, serious. So I've hired consultants. I have people that advise me. And you know what I've been told? I don't know if you guys are aware of this, that the biggest asymmetry globally for Bitcoin production from mines in terms of power of source versus output is Iran. So there's a theory out there that part of this, if in fact we are going to Clarity Act, where crypto will be a basis for the future economies, which I truly believe it is, that's why I'm invested in it, is to destroy the mining farms of Iran, take out their power so as to take their Bitcoin and help the price through scarcity escalate so as to reset global finance. Boom.
Yeah, really, you're probably right, because we've also heard that there was a massive amount of Bitcoin servers, apparently, allegedly, under the Three Gorges Dam in China.
That's right.
We were talking about them taking out the Three Gorges Dam. This is everything we've said is all linked to removing the power and finances of this worldwide cabal.
Yeah, because the cabal is the central banks.
Yeah.
Which are based on printing money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you and these are debts that are unsustainable.
That's right.
So if you the one way to do it is to take on digital assets as the new way of finance, but the only way to guarantee that is mass adoption, which apparently is happening, and then scarcity.
Yeah, and also Trump's executive orders. He's signing some more today, actually. It'd be interesting to see what he does. But EO, I think the numbers are 13818 and 13848.
Right, yeah.
Don't quote me on that. But they are basically, we can seize the finances of anyone worldwide involved in, number one, child trafficking, and number two, election interference. Right. Now, with this Maduro being lifted, and quite interestingly about Maduro, is I believe that the Maduro indictment wasn't just unsealed and they took him out. It was unsealed in March of 2020. right? So they may have had him playing a part or that as an actor since then, already for now, because if Maduro is singing like a canary and they're getting all this stuff, it's going to be proved that not only the 2020 election was stolen, elections in over 70 countries for 20, 30 or 40 years. These politicians are not elected, they are selected.
Right.
Yeah, and the other thing on that, just one more thing on the executive order, because a big part of it is also about foreign interference. So what we're now going to see revealed is that like Stu was saying, even though this was going on in all these countries for all these years, you're going to see how our votes were switched through a lot of these servers that went through Venezuela to the Vatican, right? The Leonardo server that they have, and if you remember, I don't know if you followed any of this, but after back in 2020 we had the whole situation where Barr, remember our Attorney General Barr, well, he was kind of MIA. Do you remember that? Like, you just didn't see him for a while, and supposedly, allegedly, he went over to Germany where these servers were changing the votes, and what we heard at the time was that Gina Haspel, am I saying her name right? Haspel was over there. She was the head at the time of the CIA, and there was a shootout, literally, where some of our guys got killed when they went in there to reclaim these servers. So you going back all the way to 2020, so you have to assume that they had everyone, but they have to play it out for over time. So if all these executive orders, all these sealed indictments, all these kind of scooping these people up from all over is happening, then that's, to your point, that this has to do with fair elections and the economy. And that's pretty much what we were talking about with Juan yesterday.
Right. But if you look at the sequence of events, first we do Venezuela. We secure more oil. Why is that important? Because if you assume that you're going to invade Iran, which clearly they've had this planned, clearly, you're going to have a major oil shock. So you need to be able to secure oil from other places. Otherwise, the world economy is going to collapse. But if you secure, and then they made it legal for Russia to trade, to trade sanctioned oil. So you have supply spigots now coming from Venezuela and from Russia, right? Which means that you can do whatever you plan on doing in Iran without permanently destroying the world economy. Because if you have $250 oil, it's over. The world can't exist. You can't move. You can't manufacture. You can't do anything. But I think they did this knowing that, okay, we have to have controls in place so that if we invade Iran, they won't just, light their oil fields on fire and mine the Strait of Hormuz and destroy us all.
Yeah. And if we're hearing it, it's already done. Like, that's the theory. Because even someone in the chat just said, that we had the Delta Force went in and got the servers in 2016, 17, which makes total sense if we're hearing it in 2020, because we were all distracted with the election and COVID and all this other nonsense.
Yeah, I keep talking in the present, but I have no notion of time anymore. So, okay.
No, we are witnessing the most sophisticated, well-planned military alliance operation play out that has, ever been witnessed, and a lot of it we can't see, obviously. Now, if they'd have just gone, there's a cabal worldwide, and we're all going to take them out, guns blaring, just imagine the damage would have been gone on this planet. You are taking down this global behemoth, and people are not in the trenches. They're not fighting wars. They're not all got guns shooting each other.
Right.
It's
the only way. It's the only way to do it. Otherwise, it's blood on the street every day, forever.
Well, and are you really taking down the system? Because they'll all run and hide, and they'll pop up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. This way they think they're safe, but they're not.
And that's the thing. If Q started in 2017, where they were starting to educate people and use the Socratic method for people to start asking questions, what? The enemy can't read that? They don't know how to understand that? So you have to assume, according to what we've heard, right? And it could be even further back. But, according to that lady that, Joe Rosati was talking with, she said, she's behind the scenes. She said it was all done by 2015, which then goes down another rabbit hole of whether or not Obama, right, who we've come to hate, was he working with the White Hats? Was he a good guy all along? Was he a bad guy that they white-mailed? Like, these are all the things that we don't know.
Well, I mean, wasn't Obama clearly an Epsteiner? Wasn't he? Isn't that what's coming out? That he was part of? I don't know. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Because he did sign. He signed an executive order, right, Stu, during his presidency, that as far as declassifying certain documents and things. I think that was during his Why would he do that? I mean, yes, he could have had a gun to his head.
To distract.
You're not going to sign an executive order that throws your baddie friends under the bus.
Well, maybe there's bad and there's awful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, there's a lot of talk about the Smith-Mundt Act as well, how the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act, which was signed in Obama, because the Smith-Mundt Act was originally to allow the US government to use propaganda against foreign countries, in times of war and things. And there's a lot of chat about it. Doesn't say what people think it says. JF on the Sapperplex talk about this a lot. But if there was a Q operation and the White Hat plan needed to use propaganda against the American people, not to put them into slavery, but to win this war. We've seen all this fakery of NASA and school shootings and everything. They've had to do it back, right? Especially when we see Joe Biden's head disappearing and his hand going through microphones, and we've seen him in a fake White House set and all this sorts of stuff.
And it might not have been. And it might not have been Obama. Like, Herr Schultz in the chat says, I really believe he was replaced going into the second term. There's a lot of proof. So he might have been a baddie. You know what I mean? Like, well, that evidence is there. Right. And then this operation, because Juan says this operation's been going on for a long, long time.
Amazing. I could show you some stuff about Trump. Charlie Freak did an amazing, it's a 4-part series. And it goes right through Trump's history, how he had to go bankrupt, how he had to sort of pretend to be one of those, how he had to take on sort of like Jewish finances to actually make them believe he was one of them, because, and we've talked about the Al Smith dinner and how he's actually not one of us, but to infiltrate this global behemoth that had their tentacles absolutely everywhere, you've got to go in and infiltrate them back. Infiltration, not invasion. And it's
one of your viewers is really putting some really interesting chats. I'm like reading and I'm like, what the hell is this?
So what they're talking about obviously is the whole spiritual.
The head archon is known as Lord Lucifer or Satan, whom is the supreme leader of the dark forces that plague Earth, including the negatively oriented Greys, reptilians, Khazarians, and Jesuits.
Yeah.
So maybe my daughter shouldn't go to Georgetown.
Well, we did tell you that last time, didn't we?
We did, yeah. But here's the thing: if you ever look at any of the videos we've done with our survivors of MK Ultra and satanic ritual abuse, which is very hard to watch. However, they're very they explain how it's not just about mind control. It is about attaching demons to them. So this this goes so deep. Like, I can talk about all this geopolitical stuff and hear the most god awful stuff and be like, okay, it's terrible, but I can do. When we start getting into that, like, I was messed up for like a day after we had Laura Worley on, and she was describing all these demonic things that they also do and they summon. So the person in the chat is absolutely right. There is a whole level when you're dealing with Satanists that isn't just about kind of the three-dimensional stuff we could understand, money magic, even abusing children, right? Because it's like physical. But when you start getting into these higher realms of the pure evil and summoning the devil and all of these demons, is a whole different world. And that's what we've been sort of living with, because a lot of us believe that certain places, the whole country, but like New York, for example, we're very spelled here. It's like there are certain parts of the country that people are going to need a 2x4 over the head to wake up out of the slumber. And that, what's the answer to that? It's just like Sheila says, getting in good with the Father.
Right.
Wow, she's putting so much in there.
Yeah,
right?
I'm seeing that. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to put the hierarchy pyramid in the chat for people, in Rumble chat and the YouTube chat, because I showed you that last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
And go and have a look at that.
I mean, it's just amazing how the viewers their perspective is so matter of fact. Something that is so foreign to me. It's like, what? It's just matter of fact. It's not like there's a theory I believe. No, it's matter of fact. And there's a saying, I can't borrow your conviction. I have to have my own conviction.
Exactly.
And it's incredible, the conviction, the level of knowledge that your viewers have. It's really quite incredible.
What the good thing is, Renee, everyone in this chat has been through what Elisa and I have been through and what you're going through.
Yeah.
Right. And also everyone in this chat has been down different rabbit holes, which is why we all work so well together, which is why it's amazing to have these people in the chat.
It really is.
We love them all, because it's like, I don't know everything. Lisa don't know everything. I learn something new every single day doing this. Oh,
guys, I need to take like maybe 10 minutes. We're in the middle of a trial right now.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Maybe just, you guys talk or put on something, but I need like 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, Renee, we're newbies at this. What are we going to do without you? We won't have anything to talk about. I'm sure we'll be all right.
I'm looking forward to watching the recorded version.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you back in about 10 minutes.
Like 10 minutes.
What you have to
I'll
do.
be right back.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's it. Leave it like that. Good. Right. Okay. Should we have right.
Well, I'll make a few comments and commentaries about him. He's starting to think differently. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not in shock anymore. He doesn't seem as sad, right? Like, he lost sort of an innocence in a sense when we first started talking to him. He seems more, I guess, I don't want to sound judgmental, but he sounds more spiritual, about how he's viewing the world and everything that's going on. And he seems more constituted. It's not breaking him the way it was when we first started chatting.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, when he comes back, what should we do? Should we play him a little video or something?
Yeah.
What I'll do.
I wanted to talk about, what I thought would be interesting before we actually end. I wanted to talk a little bit about the scare event, because we don't know when that's coming. I mean, it could come tomorrow. It could come in 6 months. It could come in a year. But I think that what we kind of take for granted is that there's going to be something that's going to shatter a lot of people and some of us already had our scare event. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the 2020 election was, you couldn't get any more scary than that. And that rocked me and got me really sick. But now we're at a different point in this movie or this whole operation. And I think it's important to just talk about like being prepared mentally and not to take everything, you know, so seriously when everybody's freaking out.
All right. Well, I've got a little video for that,
Okay.
which is good because I'm going to go to the toilet as well. So I'll just play
Okay.
this. This is just under 4 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Russian threats to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine?
The president warning the risk of nuclear Armageddon has not been this high since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
The use of nuclear weapons is raising new concerns on the brink of Armageddon.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Your mission is to be the calm in the storm, be the lighthouse in the darkness. You're watching a movie, and in the end, God wins.
We're on a mission from God.
FBI! FBI! Open up!
Be brave, shine the light.
I love that video. Maybe we could actually we'll send, because Renee will have to rewatch, but we can actually maybe send him that. You know,
That's another one from I Drop Media. He did that Dark to Light video I play a lot of the time, which is one of my favorite videos ever.
Yeah. So I was thinking after we spoke to Juan yesterday, he gave me a lot of of pause for thought that if everything, let's say everything does go down with the monetary system for a period of time. So we've been talking for how many years? I've been prepping since like 1995. Then I have to like switch out my food.
Right, let's just talk about this because I've been prepping as well. Right, I ain't got fucking mountains and mountains of food, but I've got enough to sit here and have a spoonful of honey a day for 3 months. You know what I mean? I've got a life straw so I can drink out of the toilet if necessary. All these things, right?
Right.
But I'm going to be leaving it, and to get on a jet plane, fucking come and see you in April. So, and I'll be watching all these plane falling out of the sky videos and all that. I don't care. I'm God's army and stuff. But have you got enough to keep me going for a few months in case I'm there?
Exactly. On that point, I was just saying to George last night, I was like, you know what I want to get? Like, I want to just get a whole bunch of bags of rice and beans, like just because that'll store and stay, and that can feed you forever. I mean, not forever, but you know what I'm saying? Because realistically, if we're realistic, how long can it last? Like a month? I don't think it would ever last that long. I think you're probably talking a couple, maybe 2-3 weeks. If
if the Patriots are in control, I don't think it'll last long anyway. There is a lot of talk now about obviously this jihad and the sleeper cells being activated, and we are seeing a lot of how much is real or not, but we're seeing a lot of idiots stabbing people around. I nearly said globe then. I don't say that around the world. But yeah, it's like if you live in fear, you're never going to go anywhere. If you live in love and you've got your faith, you're going to be all right anyway.
Yeah. But there's a practical side too. You know what I'm saying? If you have a family or you can't necessarily go and buy stuff. So you just want to know you have it. You hunker down. You got yourself or you got each other, just like you're not worried about eating. 999 Soul Rebel wrote, react to Trump's 1980 interview on Iran. Do you know what interview that was, Stu? Because it's not ringing a bell for me.
Yeah, I posted that the other day in my Telegram.
Okay.
That would also be in my Trump Best Bits folder, which...
You're so organized. I have to look for a photo. It takes me like 20 years to find, like, when did I take that?
Yeah.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, if I didn't take that call, I'd be a bad human being. So I took the call.
We just watched a video, and we'll send it to you. They've been saying for a while that there's going to be a scare event. Now, I would argue that depending on when each person woke up, that's their scare event. Like my scare event was the 2020 election where I was watching everything change. I literally had a nervous breakdown for about a good month. I had to go to a gastroenterologist because my stomach was like, I was like, what is happening to the Republic? And then, connecting with people and watching stuff, then I realized about the plan and all this kind of stuff. However, Juan is still talking that there's got to be some kind of scare event because you still have to wake a lot of people up. How do you wake someone up? A nightmare.
I was thinking about this the other day. All right.
I'm just advocating.
Hit me with some scare events, and I'll tell you if I'll get scared.
Because right now, for us not to.
Right now, it's very hard to scare people because we're getting hit with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead, shoot me. Hit me with something. I'll tell you if it'll scare the shit out of me.
World War III nuclear attack on New York.
Scare the shit out of me because I live here.
Complete communication shutdown. All internet, EMP.
For how long?
Well, we don't know. I believe it told us in the Q drops about the power going off. I do not believe the power will go off because I said they had a black eye.
I'm talking. You're talking globe, like the whole globe.
Our country.
Scared the shit out of me. If it's localized, it won't scare me.
Okay, but now you're not going to be scared now, right?
No, listen, I'm just telling you, if you hit me with stuff like as an everyman, I could tell you if it would fuck me up or not.
without knowing, but now we're talking about it.
Right. So
if communications go down, I believe they'll be in control of that, because I believe that's when they'll fire the EBS. So you won't be able to communicate with anyone, but the White Hats will be communicating with us.
Yeah, but the lack of communication is the greatest communication, because you will wake up the world.
Well, you will if you're telling them what's going on all their fucking TVs.
Well, eventually the communication will go back on, and then there'll be an explanation, and then you will wake up the world at once.
No, what I mean is the explanation will be when the shutdown goes off. So if you shut all communications go down, but then you fire the EBS and everyone's TV, everyone's mobile phone, everyone's tablet is playing this same movie showing Hillary's confessions and military tribunals and what's been going on. This,
that'll do it.
That's my dream. So
that'll do it.
Fake alien invasion. We've all talked about that. I don't think that will happen.
That's one. There's like reptilians walking around and going downtown Garden City.
Remember in Independence Day, you have all the saucers going to all the countries. That would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah, but see, with something like that, they could do it. They could fake it, you see, and it might not actually be real.
They could use holograms. Did you ever see the holograms technology?
That's right. They could. I guess they could.
So that's a possible scare event. The other scare event, which I think, in spite of everything we're talking about, I think this would be the biggest scare event to everyone. If you went to your phone and your bank account said 0.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to play you a video of Trump from 1980.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc. Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. Donald Trump has been so ideologically consistent that it is actually almost hard to wrap your brain around. So watch this video. This is from October of 1980. 40 plus years ago. Listen to Donald Trump being asked about military intervention as it pertains to Iran.
When you get the respect of the other countries, then the other countries tend to do a little bit as you do, and you can create the right attitudes. The Iranian situation is a case in point. That they hold our hostages is just absolutely and totally ridiculous. That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror. And I don't think they'll do it with other countries. I honestly don't think they'll do it with other countries.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, and there's no question in my mind.
Don't you love seeing those videos? I mean, there's something about his affect back then, even kind of the look in his eyes, the way he speaks, the softness of it and everything else. I asked the guys a couple questions during that just to get some things absolutely correct here. But the through line of what he is saying there is that people don't respect weakness. They don't. Did anyone respect the United States of America during the Biden administration when no one knew who the president was and we had a vice president who was completely incompetent? Did anyone respect us? Respect is a two-way street, and it starts with strength. Stand up for yourself, right? What would you say to a kid in the schoolyard, right? No one's just going to respect you just like that. You get respect, peace through strength. So Donald Trump in 1980, after the Iranian hostage situation where Jimmy Carter, who was a useless leftist president who depressed the country and allowed another nation to take our hostages, and of course Ronald Reagan got them back, there's Donald Trump 40 plus years ago saying, how do you get people to cooperate with you? Occasionally you have to use some might.
Great.
Was that a foreshadow?
He's certainly consistent.
Yeah. So these are the things that everybody's talking about. Obviously, from the Awaken standpoint, we've been waiting for this EBS to happen. You know, like when we were all trying to convince people like about this, about that, about the you know, what's really going on, the military operation. So many of us were just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let them get the shit scared out of them when they go, the ABS goes off. And so we've all been sort of waiting for this, which would be, they'd be captive, if you will. You know, there's also the idea that we're going to see, I don't know that this would ever happen, but we would see troops, you know, going down the street.
No.
When-
So when I was a
Renee,
kid,
have you-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Stu.
Renee, have you read any of the Q drops?
I've read what you've shown me.
Okay, so if you went, I'll just give you a page and you go and read the first 100 Q drops, you would just get so much information that. But I just want to read you drops 34 and 35, which is what we think is going to happen, right?
Okay.
34, this was 2017, Q clearance Patriot. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realise that we are taking back our country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On Patriots' order, we've initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur 11.3 upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta, actionable 11.4. Confirmation to the public of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organised in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. On Patriots' order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. False leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition and special operator necessity. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of every man, woman and child of this country has been exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided, and so many have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has long been broadcast. We will be initiating the emergency broadcast system during this time in an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news, to all citizens, organisations and all people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad. And 35. POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and aboard specific locations classified while these operations are conducted. Due to the nature of the entrenchment, it is time to take back our country and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity and return power to the people. It is our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. We cannot yet telegraph this message through normal methods for reasons I'm sure everyone here can understand. Follow the questions from the previous threads and remain calm. The primary targets are within DC and remain at the top on both sides. The spillover in the streets will be quickly shut down. Look for more false flags, stay alert, be vigilant, and above all, please pray. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind. God bless my fellow Americans. And that is 4-10-20, which we think is, in simple gematria, is DJT. So we have seen many, many drops, but that is potentially what may happen if we get this 55 tweet. My fellow Americans are still.
All right, so let's assume it happens. All right, there's a emergency broadcast system giving this everything. What do you then think the defense would be to that? That it was hacked. Like this is part of a coordinated attack. The emergency broadcast system was hacked, and we're back at square one.
But
isn't that the defense?
When 9/11 happened, did you have any conspiracies? Because I know when I heard that quote, the tower was hit, my brain went off and I was in pure emotion. I was in fear. I was in worry. I didn't know what was going on. We heard fighter jets that night. They shut down the airspace, right?
Well,
this will scare people. Now, there may be conspiracies afterwards,
well,
but at
let me tell you what happened to me, because that's the perspective that I have.
Yeah.
So 9/11 was such a life-changing experience for me. So Gisela, my wife, at the time worked with me. We worked together. She wasn't my wife. We actually had started dating like 3 months before. Within days of 9/11, we went from dating to living together and never looked back. It changed my life so fundamentally that I realized that we're all screwed. I'm going to hold on to what I have, and I'm not going to look back, because there are no guarantees in life. So a lot of people were fundamentally affected. I know as a New Yorker, I'm like, all right, we're all dead. I'm going to grab what I want. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to debate it anymore. This is what I want to do. We moved in together days later. We were married months later, kids, and here we are, 20-something years later. So if you want to talk about an event that changed lives, 9/11 changed lives.
I'll just tell you something on that, Mike.
But I think we've been so desensitized. Like, I'm thinking, what can happen that could affect a completely desensitized society?
losing their money,
Yes, they would shit themselves.
losing your money. There's
It would be Lord of the Flies.
Well, that's what we think. Look, people have heard about the Epstein Files. People have heard about child trafficking, and they still look away. They still won't get involved. And if you can look away when you know children are being raped and tortured and potentially eaten as a delicacy as well, what is going to wake you the fuck up?
Your money. Your money.
Thinking so, and we hear as well that both sides want a financial banking collapse.
Yeah.
However many of that side are left. But I'll just tell you this. Whether this has already happened or not, this tweet, right? Because some people say it has and some people say it hasn't. Drop number 55, November the 2nd, 2017. Look to Twitter. Exactly this. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. God bless. If Donald Trump or someone else in high standing in this alliance makes that tweet and the EBS goes off, everyone knows the Q is then a real operation. We know it is, right? But all the doubters, all the media, all the people that have been telling us QAnon is a crazy conspiracy theory, they will all know. It will be a mass understanding of what's been going on. And I believe we're building to that as well, because every single day that goes by, people are losing faith in their media and in their governments and their politicians. And when they find out that all these people have conspired against Donald Trump, it's going to be a mass awakening. And I think you should hit him in the pocket fucking before that.
Yeah, we've gotten to the point as a society that if it doesn't affect us directly, I'm not talking about our neighbor, our next door, not even our uncle, cousin. If it doesn't affect you directly, we don't care. That's how awful we have become as a people. That if it's not affecting you, whatever, it's someone else's problem.
Yeah. Like last night when I was at the hospital, they were going to put we were saying goodbye, and Vivi, who is George's sister, she was, staying with Vivian, through the night. And so she said, oh, we're gonna watch the news and go to sleep. And so everybody said like, oh, I haven't watched the news in, 20 years. Meaning the mainstream news. This, Mark was saying, I don't even watch the news. Like, I just stream stuff. And anyway, we were talking about, well, what he's like, besides what's going to be on the news anyway. It's going to be, who got shot. It's going to be, Iran, it's going to be Epstein. And it hit me like, it's going to be Epstein. Like, have you listened to what's coming out about Epstein?
I mean, what is wrong with you?
But that's why we need a scare event.
Yeah. The problem is that scare event that you're talking about, let's really analyze it. I don't think they'll do it. I'll tell you why. Because they need us not dead. They need us scared. I think if you zero out everyone's bank accounts, they'll lose control. Because remember, we have weapons. We have firearms. We will hunt down the powers that be that allowed this to happen. So you know what, Elisa? You see that gun safe right there?
Yeah.
A lot of people like me that have gun safes.
No, our country, that's what saves our country.
So. I don't think so.
Second Amendment.
I don't think so. I think it has to be something that is maybe temporary. Maybe for like a couple of days.
Well, it would be temporary. That's the point. It's not forever.
It's not going to be forever. It's
24 hours, 48 hours. That would scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, to scare the shit out of people, especially if because the people are not engaged. Maybe the military have got to wait for these people to go, we've had enough, and all come out in their fucking houses. Right. That is it. We'll get back in your houses. EBS goes off. The storm is upon us.
Yes.
We are taking down these people.
As long as the money comes back,
yeah.
The people.
They don't want to bankrupt anyone.
Everyone will be. They will shoot the people in office. They will go to the streets and kill people if that were to happen. And I don't think the powers that be, or whatever we're calling them now, want that, because who do you think the people will want to shoot? Because they will blame them for them being with no money.
Yeah. Look, if you tell people about the COVID truth, they're all going to be wanting to go into doctor's surgeries, pulling their doctors out and hanging them up from lampposts.
Correct. And you want to know something? Another pandemic? No.
Mm-mm.
No. Did it done
that
it.
Card.
Whatever. No.
Hey, I'll play a little bit.
I'm not wearing my mask.
Play a little 30-second. I'll play a little 30-second video.
Every civilization reaches a crisis point eventually.
Most of them don't make it.
Yours did? How?
Our sun was dying. We had to evolve in order to survive.
So it was only when your world was threatened with destruction that you became what you are now?
Yes.
Well, that's where we are. You say we're on the brink of destruction, and you're right. But it's only on the brink that people find the will to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve.
Yeah. And by the precipice, it's not the threat. It's, I have cancer. I'm dying in 3 days. And there's a miracle cure that saves me from being dead. That's the precipice. It's not, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to shoot you. I swear. Nope. That's not the precipice.
Look, I mean, we hear about scare event. We hear about precipice moments. But there's also talk of a near-death experience. Now, a near-death experience is not like, oh, that was close. It's people might have to believe it's all over. Right. It is the fucking end.
Right, like you know that movie, The Mist. Remember that movie, The Mist, the new one and the old one? No. It's like you can't go outside because the air has aliens in it. And then everyone starts like killing each other in that grocery store. It becomes like survival of the fittest. Someone tries to become the leader. Like you go outside, there are aliens in that mist. Like the air is poisoned, something like that. Like you can't leave your house because if you go outside, the sun will cook you. You know, like the radio waves will bake your skin like that.
Well, we've heard about solar flashes.
Yeah,
right. Something like that. That'll work. That'll work.
Coronal mass injection.
Yes.
Ejection.
Correct. That will have the entire globe completely controlled.
Exactly. And I'll just read one more cue drop to you. This is 4908, The Great Awakening. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth, which is what we're going through. You must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. Crimes against children unite all humanity across party lines. Difficult truths. You know, so we've tried to wake up people as best we can, as fast as we can, how slow it's been, and it is an ongoing effort. But the drips will stop, and the flood will come. And
the children for me was my moment. You know, the kids. That was it. And that's like because of that, I spiraled into an everything is possible mentality. Because if that is possible, if that could happen in the world in which we live in, then my mind was like, okay, aliens possible. Yep. Time travel. Sure. Massive conspiracies of global elite to subjugate mankind for their purposes. Yes. Zionists that want to bring back the third temple of Jerusalem to fulfill a prophecy. Sure. The Vatican, composed of part of the problem that these Zionists are, and they all have to do with the hierarchy of Satan. Okay.
Right.
You see what happens? Like each individual needs their like aha moment.
Yeah.
And then everything is like, oh, okay. Sure. Okay. We didn't really go on the moon. Fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
I mean, I do think that if the next round of files that come out, if they are videos, because right now we've seen emails and that sort of thing, if they're videos and audios, I think that's going to be a whole different ball game, because I refused to watch the frazzle drip with Hillary dancing around after she cut off the face of a little girl. That's out there. I will never watch that because you can't unsee that.
No, I know.
But people that aren't sophisticated enough to understand what's going on may, I want to see that. I want to see what they're talking about. I want to see where Donald Trump is and all this. And they may accidentally stumble into some pretty horrific stuff. I just heard an audio, that one with Planet, the pizzeria place, Ping Pong, whatever that friggin' place is in Washington. What's that?
Comet Pizza.
Comet Pizza. And there was that one, I think it was Podesta. And it wasn't even like, it was so disturbing. So if people stumble upon this stuff and it's in their face. Oh, I think that also, because Q did say the children will unite, but it has to be, and there's some pretty sick fucking shit that's out there. So
do you know when I first learned about what that face was on the ball in the movie? Do you know when I first finally understood what it meant? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess when I understood it.
Well, because we were telling you about it on our show.
but I didn't understand it. I didn't really, like, I heard it, but I didn't understand it.
Because I mean, I told you that you were trying to understand what the picture was, and when I said to you that they were celebrating it and mocking it, I just saw you put your head in your hands.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
guess what?
Obviously, you had a revelation after that, did you?
I finally truly understood it.
Yeah.
It's they peel the face off the kid.
Yeah.
They put the skin on your face.
Yeah.
It's like Hannibal Lecter.
I understood this yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Today's Friday. I understood this Thursday. Yesterday. I'm like, and then they get more adrenochrome because there's no worse way of scaring a child than that. I'm like, no, this can't be.
Yeah.
This was yesterday. Because you can tell it to me, but until I really, really digest it, I can't imagine that this is a thing. Like, I kind of like, oh yeah, wow, I guess they're mocking him. But I didn't understand what you meant when you said they were mocking.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant, Stu. You said it, but I didn't understand it. I understood it yesterday.
And now you can understand why, in fact, it was Sidney Powell who was reporting on this, saying how when they stumbled on the laptop of Weiner, who had that under insurance policy, right? They were vomiting and puking in the street.
I had no idea what the big deal was with Anthony Weiner's laptop. I didn't know. I'm like, oh, they must have some porn on there or something. Like, I didn't, back then I was like, oh, he must have had some like really bad porn on there. That's what I was thinking. I didn't know what the extent of this was. I had no idea. Nobody did. I mean, you guys did, but like normal, like normies like me, we're like, oh man, he must have had some child porn or something.
Yeah.
That's what we thought.
Well, remember, we had to learn it too. It's not like we just,
I know.
just by osmosis. We had our moments of, and there's still stuff that I see that I can't comprehend, you know like,
yeah. This thing with the masking of the kids, I will never tell anyone that one.
Yeah.
If they need to figure that one out on their own. That will never come out of my mouth. That's how bad and deeply evil that is to me. That is like the height of evil. So I won't even speak it outside of this show to a person who's not ready to hear it. I won't. I won't, because then just having the thought in my head will ruin my day. Just having the thought, it'll wreck my day. I could do it today because it's therapeutic for me to talk to you about it. And I'm saving money by not going to a shrink, because that's how bad this is. Yeah. So anyway.
Well, and that's the thing. Once you wake up, like, that's what we're all sort of saying. Like, we get it. We are fighting against this. We're standing up. We don't need to see anymore because we know. And there's no reason to have to put yourself through that. It serves no purpose if you already get it and you're awakened. But if you're not awakened, you got to get out of this slumber because you're being controlled.
You know what's crazy too, guys? Let's think about the Tom Hanks movie, the one with the island, the one where Wilson, right? So let's think about how many people probably heard about that in some way. You know, you're talking the camera people, like you would think like something. There must have been some chatter. You would think, right? Like, you know, it's like, you know, why are you putting this strange thing? There had to be.
It was supposed to be in the movie, if you remember, he was trying to personify the ball.
Yeah.
He was so lonely and he had bled. And so he made a face so he could talk to someone, right?
But don't you think that there was some, like the leak, like someone would have. Maybe. So then maybe if it got out,
Not if
Then
they
the-
were all in on it. All the
Then
film
everyone's in on it. The camera people are on it. The food people, the producers, the actors.
You just don't know, do you?
We don't.
And I'm thinking, poor Tom Hanks, he had to do this to not go insane and make himself feel better. He had to talk to a ball.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Apparently, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I actually, they made me feel so bad for him in that movie. Poor guy, he had to do this. Poor FedEx worker. Except you're thinking FedEx. What is FedEx? It's a trafficker. Because now I'm thinking like a sick person. I mean, not a sick person, like an awakened person.
Connecting dots, right?
Yeah. Like it had to be FedEx, right? What does FedEx do? It traffics.
Yeah, and there's an island. It's yeah.
Island, traffic, and then that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
How long have you got?
10 o'clock. Another 4 minutes.
How long?
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Maybe 10:10.
Right, okay, let's just a little bit of happiness because they are going to try and, eradicate this child trafficking from Earth. So I've got a lovely video of it of Trump. It's called Silent Running, and it's all to do with this. This was made by Justin Bellucci, I think. Let's play this.
All right, so this is uplifting. I could use.
Yeah,
some
we can't be
uplifting.
on this. We have to always bring it up.
Yeah, I need some uplifting.
My stomach's gone a bit queasy talking about all that shit anyway.
Yeah.
So even though we have to talk about this stuff because it is vital, but
yeah.
Remember this, nothing worth doing ever came easy. Following your convictions means you must be willing to face criticism from those who lack the same courage to do what is right. And they know what is right, but they don't have the courage or the guts or the stamina to take it and to do it. It's called the road less traveled. What imprint will you leave in the sands of history? What will future Americans say we did in our brief time right here on Earth?
Take the children and yourself and hide out in the cellar. By now the fighting will be close at hand. Don't believe the church and state and everything they tell you. Believe in me, I'm with the high command.
My administration is 100% committed to eradicating human trafficking from the earth, this form of modern-day slavery here in the United States and all around the world. We are dismantling the criminal organizations that make large-scale human trafficking possible. We will not rest until we've stopped every last human trafficker and liberated every last survivor.
There's a gun and ammunition just inside the doorway. Use it only in emergency. Better you should pray to God, the Father and the Spirit will guide you and protect you from up here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me running? Can you hear me running? Calling you.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. There is nothing the political establishment will not do, no lie that they won't tell, to hold their prestige and power at your expense. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself.
Allegiance to the flag, whatever flag they offer. Let him tell what you really feel. Teach the children quietly, for someday sons and daughters will rise up and fight while we stand still. Can you hear me? Can you hear me running? Can you hear me running? Can you hear me?
For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable. There should be no fear. We are protected, and we will be protected by God. Did we challenge accepted wisdom and take on established systems? I think I did, but we all did, and we're all doing it. Or did we just go along with convention, swim downstream so easily with the current, and just give in because it was the easy way, it was the traditional way, or it was the accepted way? I know that each of you will be a warrior for the truth, will be a warrior for our country and for your family. And as long as America remains true to its values, loyal to its citizens, and devoted to its creator, then our best days are yet to come. I can promise you that.
When he speaks now, it's so different for me.
Trump has made some of the greatest speeches. You've only got to go back and watch them all. I've got
only if you're listening, Stu.
Yeah, but yeah, when you change there's a great phrase. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Oh, absolutely.
Same with hearing. But I just want to say that when Trump went to West Point, I think that was in 2020, and he stood there saluting all of those cadets that were coming up. They just passed. Well, I can't think what the word I'm looking for is. What's it called when you've just passed? You've just
graduated.
Graduated. Yeah. He saluted like that, and he was talking about the next day. He said he could hardly move his arm. Do you know what I mean? He'd done that many salutes. I went back and looked at the West Point to see how many other presidents had stood there saluting. Fuck all. None of them.
Yeah, right. So what's interesting about him? So he went to New York Military Academy, and it's actually right up there. So he probably went to high school. He probably did field trips there. He probably did that because it's in Westchester County. New York Military Academy's in Westchester. I wouldn't be surprised. He had field trips to West Point as a kid. Really admired them, admired the system. People forget about that, but he actually went to a military high school.
Yeah, he was at the head of the spear. If you look at any of the pictures, he's right there in the front. And so, are the conspiracy theories true that somehow he's the actual biological son of Patton? And he was with this.
I wouldn't know that.
Well, look at a picture of Patton.
Is that what they're saying? That was a great movie. That was
right. That was George C. Scott.
George C. Scott. That was. Oof.
But look at the real Patton, and then look at Trump.
Right.
It's pretty uncanny.
Let me just say something, because we talked about the Q drops that says less than 10 people can confirm me. Of those, 3 are non-military, and we've postulated that. Is Trump one of those non-military people, or has he always been in the military? And funnily, what is it, the 13th? Yesterday, Donald Trump put on his Truth Social at the military academy with my parents.
At New York Military Academy.
Yeah, there he is. Has Trump always been part of this military operation?
Interesting.
So the theory is that there's connection, there's all kinds of connections, but that those are his kind of foster parents, or whatever you want to call adoptive parents.
So it's interesting.
And then they show, I don't know if you saw, I think it was on Twitter, they had the side by side with him and his mom, Trump,
right,
and then his real mom. And the pictures, could they be, but these were real people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
So what's really interesting? So back before I had my eyes opened, I always understood that he went to that school because he was a bad kid.
He was bad, right?
Listen,
they had to knock him
so
into
it's interesting. So it's and then my son was a little bit naughty, so I had to figure out, I was like, what am I going to do if this kid keeps being so naughty? So my wife and I had a heart-to-heart. We have a house in Florida, we have a house in New York. So we started debating, do we send him to Admiral Farragut, which is like the Navy school in Tampa, the Navy, like the #1 military school in the United States for Navy, or do we send him to New York Military Academy, which is Army? So the reality is, he wasn't a bad kid. He was a very smart kid, because to get into these schools is extremely difficult. And my son is like a brilliant kid. So I was like, oh, Stefan will get in, no problem. But I started realizing, oh my God, it's like impossible to get in. So I'm like, oh, Trump, smart, not bad. So stupid little revelations that you just get from seeing things from a different perspective. That's all.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, look, that's been amazing today. Your internet connection was much better today, Renee.
I don't know
without
why.
you having to do it on your phone. So that's good.
Hey, can I just share this picture of General Patton?
I mean, I hate to say it, Stu. Maybe this is to lull me into a sense of comfort before the EMP.
Okay. I'll just put that up. Can you see that?
Look, women are much better at this than men. Like women can look at a baby like, oh, you look just like your dad. And I look at them like, say it again. What? Yeah, women have this incredible talent that men simply do not have. We can't look at a baby and say, you look like your mother.
Well, I didn't just look at this. This has been floating around with the side by side. I can't find the side by side, but it's pretty uncanny. And don't forget, he has a helmet on. He's not got a wave of hair on him.
I do see it. I do see it. Even though I'm a dude.
Yeah. So that is amazing. Right, we are back on in 3 hours 20 minutes with Jason Q. Oh no, it's not. It's 4:30 my time, so that's 2 hours 20 minutes with Jason Q.
2 hours.
Tomorrow,
I just want to do a plug, though. Could we do a plug for the New York Awakening?
Yeah, and then tomorrow we are doing our Patriots Across the Pond Saturday family chat. For anyone in the chat that wants to come and join us, go to our Rumble channel, look at the upcoming live. It's already uploaded. In the top of the comment section there is a StreamYard link if any of you lot want to come on and join us for a chat tomorrow. Elisa, all yours.
Yes. So I just want to put out another reminder. We've got the Awakening Summit. It's at theawakeningsummit.org. You could get your tickets. I think all the VIP tickets are gone already. That's April 25th and 26th. Stu and I are going to be the masters of ceremony. We have, Derek Johnson, Dr. Jan Halper Hayes. Let me see. My brain isn't working today. Carrie Cassidy, Joe and Scott from Truth Stream, Laura Worley, MK Ultra survivor, Lisa Schermerhorn, healer. Let me see. Bruce Poppy is going to be there. Matt Geiger is our top platinum sponsor with Verity Metals. Light Warrior Patriot is going to be there. Then, of course, we have Sue Lingenfelter from Long Island Trafficking. She does a wonderful job with that organization out in Suffolk County. Mark Abrahams. And we also, one of the latest people we've added is Chris O'Connor, who is, I believe, in the Secret Space Program, MK Ultra also, and Louis Herms, who's running for governor of California.
May I just say something? So when you told me about this a while ago, I put the event in my phone. So I looked it up to put it in, and I realized I had already put something. Do you want to see what I wrote?
Yeah, nut job, nut bag.
Let me see. I don't know if you could read it.
I can't. You're going to have to help us.
You read it.
I'm going to read it to you. Need to go to Tin Hat event with Elisa. Bring Tin Hat.
We'll give you one.
There it is.
You can borrow mine if you like.
So funny. I mean, that's literally what I wrote.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
All right,
Brilliant.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Right, just make sure you hang around for 20 seconds, watch the first bit. You've seen our outro, but I've added a little 20 seconds of Trump.
You're going to get a kick out of it.
Yeah. So thank you everyone in the chat. We love you all. We'll see you in a couple of hours for Jason Q, and anyone who wants to join us, we'll see you tomorrow on Saturday as well. Where we go, when we go all. Love, not fear.
Love you.
Make sure you're watching Stu's News and Patriots across the pond for some of your awakening information. Amazing guests every week from Monday to Saturday. Visit patriotsacrossthepond.com and follow Stewie and Elisa today on Rumble for the live shows. And remember, where we go one, we go all.
In a world flooded with noise, clarity has become rare. People are questioning what they're told and searching for something real. Mr. Heal's modern wellness meets old school remedies. CBD tinctures, methylene blue, gummies and edibles, THC-free wellness, and functional remedies crafted with old school care and modern precision. Biozox, a trusted source for ivermectin and fenbendazole. Biozox, believe your health decisions should be yours, not dictated by politicians or big pharma. Crafted with purpose and precision, Freedom Forged coffee, cacao and mushroom tinctures, small batch roasted coffee, rich cacao and functional mushrooms crafted with purpose. Verity Metals, redefining what precious metals investing should be. Why choose Verity Metals? We're not just another gold dealer. We're a trusted retirement partner. Our clients choose us because we lead with education, integrity, and transparency. Medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, accounting for 66.5% of bankruptcies. We can all agree the healthcare system is broken. There is an alternative: impact health sharing, which Yahoo News is calling the disruptor in the $4.6 trillion healthcare system. For more information, visit patriotsacrossthepond.com.